Welcome back to Up the Villa podcast. This is your tactical debrief, an in-depth look at Aston Villa 1, Sheffield United 1. If you're new to our channel, subscribe, drop this video a like, and get involved in the comment section down below. So, our winning streak is over. Frustrating game, but you know, I'm looking at it reflectively, and I still can't just look at. I look at it the same as that I looked at it from yesterday when I walked out the ground. You know, frustrated that we didn't get the win, frustrated that the run's over, frustrated that we didn't go top of the league, but ultimately we played okay yesterday, and in parts we did things okay. We controlled the game, we had a lot of possession, but it was what we kind of did with that at the end, which is why we didn't get the win and why, you know, the winning streak hasn't continued, in my opinion. So I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. And it just feels like we've got to get used to this. We've got to get used to teams now coming to Villa Park, just looking to defend and then feed off scraps if possible. You know, when I was at the game, they kept putting like 20 minutes, 40 minutes, and, you know, it kept saying Villa 80% possession, Sheffield United 18% possession, you know. So I think the one positive that I'll start before we really get into it is that, you know, a testament to our style and the way that we are now playing, you know, having the ball, controlling the game, controlling possession, having a team that just wants to sit there and just defend for their lives for 90 minutes. You know, fair play to Sheffield United. They were able to do that game plan. So they do need a bit of credit for that. But 9 times out of 10 now, that team will not be winning that game. And I think that's how I'm choosing to look at it as well. You know, yes, we weren't creative enough. Yes, we didn't have enough flair. Yes, we didn't pepper their goals enough. But, you know, on another day, we're winning that game. And that's how, you know, I'm sitting here and being reflective. There's probably some of you that may be screaming at your TV or however you're listening and watching, saying that it was a missed opportunity. It was a missed opportunity. If we'd have won the game, we'd have gone top of the league, and that was a missed opportunity. But I think as well, we've got to look at it and think of where we are. You know, we are not the finished article yet. We are still growing as a team. We are still adapting. We are still learning off Unai. So I think these types of results will happen every now and again, and I don't think it's one where we should literally like be losing our shit because we drew to Sheffield United. You know, like I've said numerous times, that every team in the Premier League holds their own threat. It holds its own permutation of where they are and what they're trying to achieve. So we've gone second in the Premier League. Let's see what happens in Arsenal, Liverpool. We're still in the mix. We're still picking up points. Let's just take it as that, I think, because some of the things I'm going to show you is just ridiculous. So stay tuned for what I'm about to show you, because there's some of these stats which are just a joke. So I want to get into what I felt we should have done better first, and then we'll go into various other graphics and images, etc. And we'll do the player ratings on this episode as well. But what should Villa have done better in this game? So we'll see here. This is how we lined up. I've probably got a couple of their players wrong, but yeah, I'm not going into changing all their names, etc. So one enforced change really was Longley coming in. So Longley came in for Pau. And there's just one area that, did it bug me? It bugged me a bit that we just didn't do enough. We didn't do enough here. And I'm probably going to say here, you know, against a team that are playing in this low block, they've come to defend. And there's a couple of opportunities where We got in that sort of 1v1, and I'm just going, just drive at 'em and take them on and beat your man and get that ball in the box. And we just didn't do it enough. And those two were areas for me where it left me a little bit frustrated. You know, there was times where I want Bailey to go down there. I want Cash to go down there. I want the ball to get into Cash, and I want that ball first time in there. Too many times we've got this what is it? Cut back. We're cutting back a bit, it's not necessary against a team like Sheffield United. We need to go down there. We need to go down there. We need to first time go into there, and it's start running into those channels, but not second guessing yourself. The worst thing you can do, and I said this about Cash in the last game, that he thinks when he gets the ball instead of before he gets the ball. And I felt not just Cash either in this game, quite a few of them, it was decision second rather than decision first. And what decision second allows them to do is it allows the opposition to, and I'll be honest, there was times where Bailey was 1v1 with the fullback, and we waited our time, and then that allowed three of them to come across. There was times in the game where I was like, God, Bailey's got 1v1 here. Why aren't they doubling up on Bailey, or why aren't they doubling up on Luca Dean? And it was like we would be so slow that everybody would then come across, and then you've got a 3v2. And where can we go? We're having to go back into Cash here now. And then Cash is having to go into McGinn. McGinn's having to go into Louise. And then we're having to start that move again. The other frustration that I had as well was that there was a severe lack of movement between into this area. I was really a bit frustrated at the lack of movement in there. It was so static. I felt a bit sorry for McGinn and Louise at times, because I just thought, like, who they're passing to? There was no one sort of making a run which would allow someone else to move into a space. It was all just very in front of Sheffield United at times, and that was a big frustration. I've got no qualms with Longley. I thought Power was out, but I thought Longley did really well. I can't say anything about Longley. And yeah, it was just my frustration for out wide and a lack of movement, really. So let's go into the stats then and have a look. I mean, some of this will surprise you, some of it probably won't. What is surprising is Aston Villa's possession was 78%, and our XG was 0.89. So for all of everything that we've done, we've only got an XG of 0.89. Sheffield United's XG in this game is 0.56. So to me, that tells us everything we need to know. We've not done enough with all of this possession. We had 11 shots, 4 on target. They had 5-2 on target. We had 9 corners and they had 1. We had 3 big chances and missed 2. They had 1 big chance and missed none. We had 639 passes, 88% passing accuracy, which is fantastic for the amount of passes that we had. They had 188 passes with 62% passing accuracy. And then we've got dribbles of 22%, which we should have been more. It needed somebody to just get that ball, take someone on, be expressive, beat your man, and then you're gonna have space to have some end product, and we didn't. So this was Aston Villa's average positions. You can see very, very dominant. You've got Douglas Luiz as the deepest line player. You've got McGinn in the double pivot. You've got Bailey out wide. And then you've got Jacob Ramsey and Luca Dean. So pretty much every Villa player camped inside the Sheffield United half. And then you've got Aston Villa's passing network, which is brilliant. Do you know what I mean? Like, the passing network's brilliant. We're keeping hold of the ball, brilliant. Cutting edge. We've got Sheffield United's average positions: defend, defend, and leave Cameron Archer up top. And then this is the Sheffield United passing network. This tells you everything about Sheffield United coming to Villa Park to play football, or a lack of. But, they came for their point. They got their point, but this is their passing network compared to Aston Villa's passing network, and it's just absolute night and day. So frustrating that we just didn't work the ball enough, and we didn't create enough, and we didn't express ourselves. It's really frustrating because, we controlled the game, but unfortunately, we just didn't do enough to win. You've got the shots with XG by the minute, started the game strong, but you can see that there's a massive lull in the middle. There's a massive lull of any type of shot. And again, that's why we didn't win this game, because there was that lull. And then Sheffield grew into it a little bit. And then we finished really, really strong. The match dominance based on expected threat. You've got Villa at the top, Sheffield United at the bottom. You've got the shot map here as well. Villa in the blue and Sheffield United in the red. But I think, reflecting on the game, the biggest thing I'll say is never give up. Aston Villa never give up anymore. We conceded a goal on the 87th minute and we didn't lose. And that shows to me that there's a resolve, there's a desire in this group to keep going until the very, very end. And I think that's the biggest point that I can especially take from this game, is that the 87th minute, we conceded, we didn't lose, we've got a point, we've climbed up into second. Just keep going. Just keep going. It's not a setback. It's not a setback because we didn't lose, but it's one where we've got to learn, and we've got to realise that teams are now going to start to play this literally anti-football against Villa. You've seen it all your lives against, when teams like Mourinho has played against. I mean, he's parked the bus a few times, but these teams do it, and they will just ride their luck. And sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. Look at Wolves against Man City. Man City absolutely battered them, and they ended up losing. Anti-football. So we've really got to just get on with it, and just, as the sayings go, dust yourself down and go again. But there was a lot of controversy. There was a lot of VAR. There was a lot of this, that, deserve this, should have got this. And I will imitate our manager. And for me, I am looking at no excuses. I'm not looking at this should have gone our way, that should have gone our way. I'm not going into it, because ultimately we didn't do enough to win the game. And you could say that those things, if those things had gone our way, then we would have got the result. But we're not that team. Let's not be that team. Let's not be a Mikel Arteta and lose our shit because the officials haven't give us stuff to go our way. We'll just earn it. Just be respectful of the officials and just earn it on the pitch. And I think that's where I'm at. That's where Emery's at. He never slates the officials. He never slated any officials after the game. He just literally, okay, we get on with it. And I think that's the best way to be, honestly. And yeah, I just don't want to see us whinging, whining that we didn't get this, we didn't get that, because at the end of the day, like, all those things that I've just shown you, we literally didn't deserve to win. So I'm going to show you them, and I'll give you my thoughts on those decisions anyway. So this highlights for me the part that I was saying when I went to the tactical pad. We've got into a big area here now. And against these teams that are playing these mid and low, and these very, very low, and the very, 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 very low blocks, this is the area that we have to do the damage. We have to score from these moments like this, because There we go. Look at the space. We've got to exploit this. And we do see a pass that goes into DRB, and he does manage to get his shot off. But we've got to be more clinical in these areas. We have to be. We have to be more clinical. And then this is the shot that we get away. The RB does good to get his shot away, to be fair. Tight angle, you're very rarely going to beat the keeper from there. So we'll go to the first one then. The Watkins penalty, for me, not a penalty. Yes, he's got his holding his shirt there, but the initial contact isn't enough for that to be a penalty for me. It would be very, very, very soft if that was given. So I don't think that's a penalty. We then have got the grappling from Ramsey. I've tried to get the good images where you can really see. You can see that his arm is sort of like around his arm doing that motion. Look, it's hardly any contact. No, there's contact there, and I can understand the amount of contact. Does he need to be holding his arm? Probably not. Should it have been a goal? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Look, you can clearly see that he's grappling him there. So I'd say no. I'd say they got that probably right. We know that you can't even stand next to a goalkeeper without it being a foul. So something like that, of course, they are gonna rule that out. So again, the handball, it wasn't handball. It hit him on his arm, like there, his sleeve. So I think all those decisions were fine, in my opinion. Now, this is a point where it annoys me. And this has all stemmed from the Duran penalty check, the red card check. And we've lost concentration, and Archer's scored, and this all stems from a bit of petulance, I think, and it's got to stop. We've got to stop doing it, because for me, this is where this whole goal stems from. So really, really frustrating. But then we keep going, and Zaniolo scores. And big up to Zaniolo, because he's had a lot of hate. And I think he needs a bit of credit here now, because he's just saved us. So, he scored against Zurinsky, he scored again. And I'm going to say it, he's the only player that I think in this game has ran across players to get on the end of anything. Everything that I saw was very static, was very peeling off, standing in front, trying to get a look in, but not. Zaniolo is the only one that I have seen that has ran through players to get on the end of something. That ball from Dougie is world class, but that run is absolutely sublime. The run to get in between those two players and get contact on that ball to head it in is unbelievable, fantastic, and fair play to him, because he's had so much stick, and in my opinion, it's not warranted. It's really not warranted. The amount of stick he's been getting, and I think it's really frustrating, because I think we have to give players time all the time. We have to give them time. And again, he's popped up when needed to salvage us a point. And that's absolutely massive. And if that's the only goal he scores all season, and he salvaged us that point, and we get top 4 by a point, fair play, Zaniolo. So yeah, big up Zaniolo, massive credit. You look at that desire to get on the end of that. The amount of stick he's had, and the desire to get on the end of that for this team, and he's banging that badge. Massive respect for Zaniolo. Massive respect, because it was absolutely huge. So I think you've seen enough stats, you've seen enough to make your own mind up of how you felt like that game went. Again, I've just been as brutally honest as I possibly can be, and yeah, I've just shown my vibe and my thoughts really. So we'll go into the player ratings quickly. We'll have a little individual look at the player ratings, and we'll go from there. So I'll shoot through them really quickly. Martinez, 7, didn't really have to do too much, did he? Longley, I'm going to give a 7. I felt like he had a decent game. Konsa, I'm going to give a 7. I felt like he did handle Archer pretty well. Luca Dean, I'll go 5. Didn't see too much, didn't offer too much of a threat. Cash, cutting back a lot, lacks that drive, lacks that clinical end product, which is starting to get a little bit frustrating for me. Douglas Luiz, I'll go 6. McGinn, I'll go 7. I felt like McGinn was the orchestrator in there all game. Ramsey needs to up his game very, very quickly, because when Tielemans is back, I think Tielemans is a shout to go straight back in. Ramsey just needs to get minutes and offer a bit more, show himself a little bit more. I think he's disappearing a little bit in games, and I just want to see him a little bit more. Bailey, 6, felt like he did okay. Diaby, 5, did okay. Need to see more, especially from those two in this game. Watkins, 5, didn't seem too much. Duran needs to sort this petulant side out quickly. He's a red card waiting to happen. Moreno could have scored, should have scored, go 6. And Zaniolo, he'll get an 8. So Zaniolo saved the day, man of the match for me. It is what it is. Second in the league. Let's not be too disheartened by it. We're in a great position, and these results are going to happen. We've just got to deal with it. Do you know what I mean? Just deal with it, get over it, just keep going. United on Boxing Day, and then we got Burnley at home, and then that's us done for the year. So 2 games to go. I imagine there'll be some rotation. There needs to be a bit of rotation, I think. But yeah, so what we're going to do, we have got the Manchester United match preview tomorrow on Christmas Eve. There won't be an opposition preview. It's Christmas, in it. So I'll do everything in the match preview tomorrow. We have got a Christmas special coming out on Christmas Day. We have got a Christmas quiz. So once you have all had your turkey and you're lying on the sofa and you're just chilling, and there's a Villa quiz, all 4 of us are on it, going head to head. So you can play along at home. So we got that dropping on Christmas Day. And then we will have our match reaction on Boxing Day, and then just turn our attention to Burnley. So yeah, might not be opposition previews around Christmas, just because it's Christmas, in it. So but we'll there'll still be all the other content, but just not opposition previews. So yeah, cheers everyone, up the Villa.